Setback, meeting of the minds, wedding dress fun. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, September 19th, hint at some bombshells up ahead. A character suffers a major setback, while another has a meeting of the minds, and two ladies enjoy some wedding dress fun. What's on the horizon for Friday's show? Time to find out. Billy Abbott's setback. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, September 19th, hint that in his quest to regain Chancellor Industries, Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, will suffer a setback. During the Thursday, September 18th show, Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, pulled the plug on their AI program deal, much to the shock of Billy, which was interesting timing since Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, recruited Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, to talk some sense into her ex. The two were conducting an intervention of sorts at Billy's home, and he fluffed them off quickly once he saw Kane's number on his phone. So, what does Billy do next? Make sure to check out our weekly Y&R spoilers, here. Kane Ashby's meeting of the minds. Speaking of Kane, he'll have a meeting of the minds with someone else in his train cabin. Who will that someone else be? Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, perhaps? Maybe Amanda Sinclair, Michelle Morgan? Then again, could Billy storm over to Kane to demand answers? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Read this. The Young and the Restless, Claire's cheating panic, accepts Kyle's ring after crossing line with Holden. Christine Blair's wedding dress fun. Onto some feel-good spoilers. The Young and the Restless teasers for Friday reveal that Lauren Fenmore, Tracy E. Bregman, will pull out all the stops for Christine Blair, Laura Lee Bell, when it comes to her search for the perfect wedding dress. Setback, meeting of the minds, wedding dress fun. The Young and the Restless spoilers breakdown. The Young and the Restless has never been a show to take things lightly when it comes to drama, and the Friday, September 19th episode promises to be another whirlwind day in Genoa City. From crushing disappointments to surprising encounters to a splash of joy with wedding dress excitement, the canvas is filled with contrasting emotions that highlight exactly why this soap has stayed a staple in daytime television for decades. Friday's installment will center around three crucial threads: Billy Abbott's painful setback, Kane Ashby's mysterious meeting of the minds, and Christine Blair's light-hearted journey with Lauren Fenmore in search of the perfect gown. But as always, beneath the surface of these storylines are layers of manipulation, heartbreak, and foreshadowing that will ripple through storylines for weeks to come. Billy Abbott's setback, the dream that slips away. For Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, nothing ever seems to come easy. He has spent years teetering between brilliance and self-destruction, and Friday's episode will once again throw him into emotional chaos. The setback tied to Chancellor Industries cuts him deeply because it represents more than just a business goal. It's about reclaiming a piece of his identity and his family's legacy. When Thursday's episode closed with Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, pulling the plug on their AI program deal, fans immediately knew that Billy was heading toward yet another spiral. What makes the setback sting even more is the timing. Just as Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, attempted to stage an intervention of sorts at Billy's home, Billy dismissed them the second he saw Kane's name flashing on his phone. That impulsive choice, shutting out people who care about him to chase after a risky business opportunity, is classic Billy, and it demonstrates how easily his ambition blinds him to personal stability. The September 19th episode will show Billy's struggle to process Kane's betrayal. He thought he had finally secured a partner who believed in the AI project, someone who would give him leverage in his quest to wrestle control of Chancellor Industries. But Kane's abrupt withdrawal leaves Billy with nothing but dashed hopes, a bruised ego, and the looming realization that his plan to prove himself might collapse before it even begins. The setback won't just affect Billy's professional aspirations, it will ripple into his personal life, especially as Victoria watches from the sidelines, still caring for him despite their complicated history. For viewers, this setback is both painful and frustrating, because Billy often becomes his own worst enemy, and this failure may tempt him to revert to old patterns of recklessness. And so on, continuing to expand Billy's emotional fallout, Kane's motives, Victor's possible involvement, and Christine and Lauren's lighter arc. Billy Abbott's setback, the crumbling foundation. Billy Abbott's story on Friday, September 19th, becomes more than just about a failed business deal. For him, Chancellor Industries has always been more than numbers on a spreadsheet. It's a symbolic battleground, a way for him to prove his worth not only to himself but also to those who doubt him, his family, his rivals, and even Victoria. When Kane Ashby slammed the brakes on their AI program arrangement, it wasn't just a business disappointment. It was a knife to the gut, one that once again forces Billy to confront his long history of falling short at the worst possible moment. What makes this setback particularly gutting is the juxtaposition of Billy's overconfidence and his constant need for external validation. Already, he was reveling in the prospect of regaining control, imagining how Chancellor would flourish under his direction, and how he would finally put an end to whispers about his unreliability. Kane's abrupt pullout strips away those fantasies, leaving him naked in the cold reality that once again, he may not have the credibility or stability to pull off what he envisions. And yet, true to form, instead of taking a step back to evaluate, Billy is more likely to lash out, to look for someone else to blame, or to dive headfirst into a reckless plan to save face. The emotional fallout is amplified by Jack and Victoria's attempt to intervene. Victoria, despite their rollercoaster relationship, has always displayed a glimmer of concern whenever Billy is in danger. Jack is the only person who knows his brother's weaknesses better than anyone else. Their effort to talk sense into him was brushed aside the moment Kane's number appeared, which speaks volumes about Billy's inability to prioritize personal connections over ambition. This Friday episode will likely showcase Victoria's frustration, as she watches the man she once loved slip further into dangerous patterns. Billy's rejection of help is as symbolic as Kane's betrayal. Both underline his stubborn isolation, the way he always pushes people away at the exact moment he needs them most. The irony of Billy's plight is that he is not wrong about wanting to innovate or about seeking to reclaim Chancellor. His instincts about the future of business and technology are sharp. The problem is never his vision, it's his execution, his lack of patience, and his tendency to chase short-term gratification instead of playing the long game. This setback, then, could either be the moment that humbles him into self-reflection or the spark that ignites another cycle of destructive behavior. Fans know Billy well enough to suspect the latter, and that's what makes watching his journey so frustratingly addictive. Kane Ashby's meeting of the minds. While Billy reels, Kane Ashby finds himself at the center of intrigue. His decision to pull the plug on the AI program deal raises more questions than answers, and Friday's storyline teases that Kane won't just be sitting idly by after making such a bold move. Instead, he will engage in a mysterious meeting of the minds in his train cabin. The identity of his guest is deliberately left vague, heightening the suspense for viewers who understand that Kane's alliances are as fluid as his ambitions. If the guest turns out to be Victor Newman, the implications are massive. Victor has a knack for inserting himself into any deal with high stakes, and if he sees value in Kane's program or in Kane himself, it could mean a whole new level of power games being played in Genoa City. Victor's involvement would also explain why Kane abruptly pulled away from Billy. After all, if Victor offers his backing, why stick with an unreliable wildcard like Abbott? Such a scenario would cement Kane's reputation as someone willing to switch loyalties when it suits him, but it would also make him a bigger player on the canvas. On the other hand, if the guest is Amanda Sinclair, things take on a more personal and legal dimension. Amanda's sharp intellect and knack for strategy could suggest that Kane is trying to cover his bases, ensuring that whatever his next move is, it's airtight legally. Amanda's presence would also connect Kane to another layer of Genoa City drama, as she's never far from complex entanglements. Her involvement might even suggest that Kane is planning something that goes beyond business, a maneuver that could shake up alliances across the board. Then again, the simplest and perhaps most explosive option is that Billy himself storms into that cabin, demanding answers. Given his volatile emotional state, such a confrontation could quickly spiral into shouting, accusations, or even physical altercations. Billy's desperation to salvage the deal might blind him to Kane's true motives, and such a clash could set the stage for an ongoing rivalry that dominates storylines for weeks. Regardless of who Kane meets with, the key takeaway is that he is playing a dangerous game. His choices put him at odds with Billy, potentially align him with power players like Victor, and open the door for new partnerships that could shift Genoa City's balance of power. For viewers, the intrigue lies not just in the identity of Kane's guest but in the ripple effects the meeting will unleash. Joyful moment, Christine Blair's wedding dress amid the cutthroat betrayals and emotional setbacks, The Young and the Restless always finds a way to balance the drama with moments of joy, and Christine Blair's storyline delivers just that. Christine, played by Lauren C. Bell, is getting ready for one of the most significant days of her life. On Friday, she and Lauren Fenmore, played by Tracy E. Bregman, starts looking for the ideal wedding dress. In a world where backstabbing and manipulation often take center stage, Christine's journey is a refreshing reminder that love, friendship, and celebration still matter in Genoa City. Naturally, Lauren is the ideal companion for this adventure. As a fashion icon and someone who has always had Christine's back, Lauren will pull out all the stops to ensure her friend finds a gown that reflects both her personal style and the magnitude of the moment. For longtime fans, these scenes will be filled with nostalgia, as they recall the many times Lauren has stepped up for her loved ones, blending her professional expertise with her personal loyalty. The wedding dress storyline also functions as a narrative palate cleanser, giving viewers a reprieve from the heavier conflicts dominating the week. The laughter, the bonding, and the sheer joy of imagining Christine walking down the aisle will resonate deeply with fans who have followed her journey over the years. It's not just about the dress, it's about honoring the history of a character who has weathered storms and deserves happiness. Of course, because this is The Young and the Restless, even a light-hearted arc like this may carry undertones of foreshadowing. Even though Christine is basking in the glow of anticipation right now, fans can't help but wonder what twists might be in store. Weddings in Genoa City rarely go off without a hitch. Could an unexpected guest disrupt the nuptials? Might a long-buried secret threaten the happiness she's building? These questions keep the storyline grounded in the show's signature unpredictability. The bigger picture. Taken together, the Friday, September 19th episode embodies the full spectrum of The Young and the Restless storytelling. Billy's setback captures the raw frustration of a man who can't seem to escape his self-sabotaging patterns. The suspense and speculation generated by Kane's enigmatic meeting keeps the audience riveted. And Christine's wedding dress fun brings warmth, nostalgia, and optimism to balance the scales. What ties these arcs together is the theme of crossroads. Billy stands at a crossroads between growth and relapse. Kane stands at a crossroads between loyalty and ambition. Christine stands at a crossroads between the struggles of her past and the promise of a new chapter. These parallel journeys remind fans that Genoa City is not just a place where stories happen, it's a living tapestry where choices reverberate, connections matter, and the smallest decisions can reshape destinies.